We need to have gatekeepers in a way that we're not blocking people. We need the gatekeepers that are blocking the fucking assholes that just want to hold people back. Like, where are the gatekeepers for them? They've been gone a long time ago because they got pushed out by these greedy cocksuckers that only care about them and their own self-interest. Why is that? That's fucking bullshit.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil lay inside your box now while the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Big Sir Bavelli, back in the place to be, La Merca Superior, Palace 81 Studios. We are live in effect, live and direct. It's your boy Mr. Nine Times. Forgot what I said after that. We were live, Mr. Nine Times. Yeah, man. Today's mathematics is July 21st, Monday, July 21st. That means it is wisdom and knowledge all being born to understanding. So whenever we are blessing people with our knowledge and our wisdom, make sure they can clearly understand with what we are saying, and we're not just dropping knowledge and we're not just dropping wisdom on people. You know, we could spit the game all day long, but if people aren't understanding it, then what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What are you talking for? There's got to be understanding to the words and the wisdom that you're saying. Peace. Today's drip check, we have Gel NYC A6. These are, I think there's oatmeal and like peach or something like that. Oatmeal and peach. Beautiful. You know, these are the Somos Leones Imperial blue basketball shorts that I got, and then the graveyard tee, and then shades. I'm fucking tired. What is it? Yesterday I did 12 hours of overtime, which is, it's not bad, you know what I mean? We got hella downtime, so I'm not really that tired. It's just getting back into the swing of things. I had my wisdom teeth taken out, so now that I'm kind of almost like 100%, I still feel like right here, I still feel like a little, I think it's my muscles right here. I don't know what it is, but I think it's like the inside of my cheek paws that's still a little swollen. And I have muscle relaxers, but I just hate taking them because even taking, I'll take a quarter of a muscle relaxer and I'll wake up feeling like a fucking tonto. Like, it's weird because when I was coming out of anesthesia, I didn't feel like, there's videos of people that act like stupid and shit, like all ooh, but I didn't. I just felt like I was faded without like the complete high. You know, when you get high and shit, you start giggling and like a little girl and all this shit. I didn't have like, when I came out of anesthesia, I didn't have like the anesthesia didn't have like no psychoactive effects on me. So I just felt like I was in like a state of like, if I had just woke up, like, you know, when you like just wake up in the morning or something wakes you up and you're damn near asleep, but you're awake. Like you're 80% asleep, but you're 20% awake. Especially if you know, you wake up hella early in the morning or something like that. That's just how I felt. I didn't feel like complete, whatever. What am I trying to say? I'm recovering from my wisdom teeth. I'm pretty much good, you know, but going back to work, I was sweating hella crazy. You know what I mean? My coworkers were like, damn, you're sweating, dog. And I'm like, fucking, I know, my body, just taking a week off my body is over here like trying to acclimate back type shit. And all that means to me is like my body is just sweating like all the water out. I drink hella water and I feel like maybe from not working and stuff, my body's holding a lot of water. I don't know. It's just weird. I'm getting back into the swing of things at work. I didn't ask to take it easy from nobody. I didn't ask nobody, hey, can I do easy shit? I just did my work like a man, and I feel like that's just a testament to, people. And I don't know what other people got going on, but I just feel like it'd be dumb to take advantage of like some shit if it fucks other people over. Because at work, like, everyone gets a share of the work. Nobody's just stuck doing one shit. It's like we kind of all take turns at doing our work. And for me to be like, oh, I need to do the easy shit would be whack. You know what I mean? I was good for a week. Okay, I didn't have any work, So now let's get back to it. So there's a couple of things that it got going on. I don't even know where to start. Maybe we could just go with, there was some ICE raids, I think, today. 2 of them maybe, but there was one on San Antonio on Whole at the Stater Brothers. As soon as I seen the video, it looked like Stater Brothers. The old school layout of Stater Brothers has like a certain layout. I feel like any supermarket I could kind of I can have a really good guess at what supermarket it is. And once I seen it, I'm like, oh, that looks like the fucking Stater Brothers right there on Mountain in the 60, right there across the street from the In-N-Out. But it was the other one. It got me thinking, because these ice raids ain't happening on the south side. They're all happening on the west side, on the north side of Ontario, which is predominantly Raza, and kind of where most of the kind of, I don't want to say like poverty and stuff like that, but where it would be more, what's the word? I'm trying to look for, where the less fortunate, let's say. That's kind of fucked up to say, but just like all the money is pretty much like on the south side, like all the nice houses, all the fucking people with money that drive really nice cars are on the southeast side, and then all the people pretty much that aren't as, I guess fortunate, we could just call it that, are on the west side, the north side, whatever. It's very interesting because you get on the other side of Ontario, you have Upland, which is everyone there is fucking rich. On the east side, you have of right there, you got like Rancho, which is all the money too. And then directly east, you got Fontana, which is kind of like, I say we're more, there's money too. And you got like Bloomington. Then right here, you got like Eastvale, which is like people obviously with money. Over here, you got like Chino, or I guess Chino Hills. I don't know how they chalk that up, Chino versus Chino Hills. I guess it's just right here, Chino, and then Chino Hills is directly west of that. And then, yeah, Chino, Upland, Rancho, Fontana, Eastvale. Yeah. Gave y'all a real good geographical lesson and shit. But it's kind of like disturbing. I know we gave Dumb Fuck of the Week to the mayor last week because there was like a girl or something that wanted like the mayor's comments on the ICE raids, and he was acting like a complete shithead about it, like completely dismissive, like, oh, this is what hearsay and all that. I'm paraphrasing, don't quote me, but he was basically saying how it's just hearsay and he hasn't seen anything, and then like a day later or something there were ICE raids. So I don't know what's going on. I just feel like with all these things that are happening, it's just whack to me, bro. I don't understand how some of this shit can happen. I doubt that ICE are gonna notify local authorities on what the fuck they're gonna do. They're just gonna go in and snatch people, and I don't know if that's a complete undermining of like our constitutional rights, which it is. But I'm just saying, like, we have laws in between. We have laws under the Constitution. Yes, the Constitution, liberty and all that bullshit for all, but obviously what we've been seeing for the past 2 months has been the complete opposite of freedom and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Literally, it's the pursuit of jackasses that are coming like bounty hunters and snatching hardworking American citizens and or illegal immigrants and detaining them and going through shit. I honestly think we're living in a fucking weird era right now. We've had shit like the Rodney King riots, the Watts riots. There's a bunch of things out there where there's been certain targeted attacks on the people and the people come out and they retaliate. But this seems like a different thing. This really does seem like they're trying to eradicate an ethnic group of people that have like a rich cultural background and is like a very integral piece of America. And for them to come and just be like dogs, they sicken the dogs on us. It's ridiculous, bro. I think it's highly uncalled for. And I feel like if you support the people that are doing this to our people, like you're just an asshole. You know, there's people that have their weak ass arguments, but the bottom line, bro, is when they come and they snatch you or your family up, you're gonna have like a different tune. And if you're one of these assholes out here that is like in support of that, I just feel like you could go fuck yourself. I've already talked about this before, but I feel like especially since it happened here, I have to say something, because as far as my city, I'm the only one that's out here I feel like has a platform that could represent just for anything, podcasts, just everything, you know, music, clothing, whatever. But it's not really about that. It's just more so using my voice to kind of give a voice to the voiceless out here. Yes, we can fucking put all day long about Instagram stories and stuff like that, and it helps to spread awareness and shit like that. But for me, it's kind of like this is actually history. I feel like what we're gonna see and how we're gonna be taught history and learn history in the future is not gonna be with textbooks, pencils, and notebooks. It's definitely gonna be with technology, computers, and whatever that becomes later on down the line. In high school, we had some shit called Chromebooks. They were just laptops that had school learning applications, and it was still fairly new. I don't remember if they had it here at the school by my house. I don't remember, but I feel like I want to say when I went to Chaffee High School, there were Chromebooks that we used, but it was very little. Like I can't even remember what we did. I don't even think I wrote up a paper, you know, for English or no shit like that. We had computers and stuff. We had our own, like in the library, we had like a computer room and stuff like that. Obviously, like what school doesn't have computer rooms? But I feel like that's just a teaspoon of what we're gonna see. I can remember when we had projectors in school. The kids nowadays, you tell them what a projector is, and they're gonna look at you like you're a fucking idiot. You know, like what the fuck is that? You know, a projector nowadays is probably somebody who's like an imposter or tries to like front like if there's somebody that they're not, which, you know, imposter, projector, whatever it is, they go hand in hand. But what I'm saying is a fucking device with the light that projected an image on the screen, and it was usually a piece of paper or something like that. And that's how we learn, whether it was like reading books. They would put the book right there and, you know, we would read. Everyone would take turns reading, or we'll go over a lesson or something like that. So the way, like, I feel like the world is going with technology is very interesting. And I'm kind of like concerned about what the future looks like with technology, especially with shit going on like AI or apps like TikTok and all that, which is complete brain rot. You could doom scroll on TikTok and Instagram and all that shit. And it's like, but what does that really mean? You know, it's kind of scary because I'll waste a portion of my life just looking at bullshit, whether it be like half naked bitches or dogs or whatever like that, which is like cool for whatever downtime or in the moment, or just burn time and all that. But I feel like the less time we can actually use our brains to communicate with the world, I feel like the more we're going into some other shit like Wally, like what I talked about with Migs on our episode, where we're already at that point where we're kind of, it's too late. Like you have like a horse or some shit while there's cars around, like you're in the Amish era. You know, you have a flip phone, you're in the fucking early 2000s. Like if you don't keep up with the times, you're going to be lost to times if you're not going to keep up, which is scary. Hey, Pop, can you turn that light on real quick? My Pops is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to, no, turn the other light. Turn this one, this guy. I don't know if that's better, but on the lighting, no, it's definitely good. We're good, Pop. Thank you very much. Awesome. Good night, Pop. Love you, Pop. So, yeah, with the technology and shit, it's kind of crazy. And I remember when the iPhone 4 came out and I was like in middle school, it was bugged out. It was like looked at as like a social status. Oh, I got the new shit, the new phone, just like sneakers, the new whatever. Now I feel like people, it just doesn't care. Like now you got the new phone. There's a new fucking phone like every 6 months, I feel like, It's not a big whoop-de-doo. When the new iPhone came out, when it was like the 3, 4, 5, whatever, I felt like it was a big thing. Like, oh, we're getting this, we're getting that. It's a glass fucking display, or it was better. It's not glass anymore. It's silicone or some shit like that. I don't know. I didn't have my first. So I think I had a slide when I was 14. I would text girls. Then I had, what did I get? What was the first? I had an iTouch. I had an iTouch and a slide. Then I had an iTouch and I had the Razor. Remember the Verizon Razor? Not the old school Motorola Razor, but the Verizon had a Razor that was fire. I accidentally wiped all that shit on that phone, and I had like a lot of photos, like a lot of good shit, especially when Presley was a puppy. So that must have been probably, I think I was a junior, and then my parents had a plan where it was like you could upgrade it, right? So then like I think I was a freshman in college, like in the summer. I upgraded to the Samsung 8. And I remember when the Samsung Galaxy 2 came out. I remember I stole a Galaxy 2. I found it in the bushes, and it was some girls, right? And then my cousin knew somebody that could wipe the phone, and you like had a brand new phone and had $20 in the case. I gave it to my cousin. My cousin took the $20. I was like, let's split it. And he was like, my cousin was always like a dickhead to me, like when I was younger, like that, to where it was just like, he really only like thought about himself and all that shit, which probably stems from like his own survival shit. It's not, to me, I don't care. Like, but big fucking deal. Like $20 now. Like what the fuck? But back then, you know what I mean? $20, that's a lot of weed. You know what I mean? That's some fucking, that's 2 pies. That's, $20 when you're fucking, how old was I? I think I was like, that was when we did that. Cause that was when I was in middle school, but I was training in high school for this. I was in a Disney parade march for music. So I want to say that might have been when I was in 8th grade, probably. So in 8th grade, yeah, I was like 14. So stole the phone. That was the Galaxy 2. My cousin kept it, and then my cousin gave that to Mufasa, of all people. And that was 2014, and then the 8 came out in 2017. But I don't think the 2 had came out. I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe this was 20. I don't fucking know. I don't remember, right? So, and I mean, don't show my age too, but that's fine. As a kid, I was kind of, I had sticky fingers. I got in a lot of heat for that shit. I don't know. I just like to steal shit when I was a kid. I don't know. I feel like I just needed to take shit. I don't know what it is. Maybe that, I don't know if that's like product of your environment or that's what you see around you. Maybe it could be some kind of like what do they say, existing type of thing. Like there's like archetypes or something that I studied, I think, I want to say like in college or as a senior in high school or something, to where I think I was a senior in high school, where it's like there's no like good or evil. It's just there's certain archetypes of humans, I want to say, based on like survival. So I want to say I saw this video on, there was like this puppet type things and they tested them on babies, and this was like a very thorough test. Like they tested a bunch, like a couple, like they did a shitload of studies, right? I don't remember verbatim. This is like over like 10 years ago or some shit like that. And basically the kids reacted positively to this little like ugly little puppet that would get punished. I don't remember verbatim what it is. Hopefully if anyone's out there that they can leak me up to this shit, maybe I'll find it and I'll come back. That's what I'll do. I'll do my homework on this because I just remembered this shit now. But basically like babies and their brains from this study were showing that they would show like judgment and punishment to like things that they didn't like or they felt were inferior, some shit like that, something down the line. So they had they had like a certain prejudice is what it was. They had a prejudice to like a certain thing or like a certain puppet or a person or some shit like that. Forgot what it was supposed to represent, right? But I thought it was really interesting because, you know, as you grow up, you change. And things are around you, trauma, all that shit. And basically everything that you've ever experienced in your life gets put in like a blender, and that's what you are. You know, if you start out pure, let's just say like with one ingredient like milk, that's pure. But then you start adding like trauma could be like raspberries or like fucking bananas, or positive things could be, you know, like ice or something. And once you blend that together, that's what you get. That's who you are. You know, I think I've always had a strong mind, and I just don't let shit, like I have like a strong will, and I have a persistent, keen instinct to do what I feel is like best for myself, you know. And I don't mean fucking people over and all that shit. Like some people think that they have to get over on people to succeed, or to become successful they have to do little sneaky shit, you know. That's never been me. I've always been the one to like, okay, let's try to like figure out what I need to do to better myself for myself, and not try to get one over on people. The reason, to me, in my opinion, this don't happen. Like in reality, people fuck like other people over, and then they get further in life, you know. There's a lot of great examples of that. But for me, it's just kind of, I'm trying to do this shit for myself because I don't feel like I have anybody else to kind of lean on in that. A lot of people lean on me for certain things that I don't want to say, but, and vice versa, you know what I mean? Obviously, like my parents helped me out with shit like that, with certain things. But my point is, I don't look at the world like if other people are doing better than me, or if I feel inadequate, I take that out on others. You know what I mean? I just kind of try to do a little introspective self-reflection on, okay, what do I need to do to get better? Because as a man, I feel like if you're not, like I said, it goes back to what we've been saying. If you don't look within yourself and say, what am I doing that's fucking me over? You're just an idiot, bro. Like, you're really something else if you're not thinking about things in a way to where you have to get better. Because as a man, if you're not getting better, if you're letting the world get you down, if you're just mopey, depressed, and you're getting all in your feelings like a little bitch, then that's where you need to stay. Because if you're not doing the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding in your life that's necessary to build a more positive structure in your life, you're a dumbass. That's probably not the message of the day, but as a man, I can't speak for women because women are emotional creatures that run on their emotions. They're a whole different breed. Men are more cerebral and they have more tactical, in my opinion, ways of going about life. And that's what fucks us over sometimes, you know what I mean? Where you feel like you could underestimate something that you thought you fully calculated, and there you are, like, boom, you know. It is what it is, you know. So just going with, I had a Samsung 8, going back to the phones and shit like that. I don't even know why we're here. Technology, right? The technology of the world is fucking scary. I didn't have a touchscreen phone until I was like 16. My pop told me he didn't have a phone until he was 30. You know what I mean? We had a house phone and that's it. Kids nowadays don't even know what a house phone is. Like, there's a difference between a house phone and a cell phone. Yeah, there was. Originally, it was only a home phone. You had one phone maybe in the whole house, or maybe one per room if you were balling like that. I remember we had only two phones, one upstairs and one downstairs. You know, if you were downstairs, you picked the phone up. Whoever was upstairs could, pick the phone up and listen to whoever was on the line or whatever. Downstairs, upstairs, room to room, whatever it is, right? We got a 2-story house, so it's fucking, it's what it is here. But I remember we had, answering machines. Kids don't know what the fuck that is now. All these kids are on the fucking iPad, the Switch, the phone. It's scary to me, bro, because I'm watching like all my little nieces and stuff. They're on these devices. And as a kid, man, bro, I would play with whatever, Legos, Bionicles, puzzles, whatever, you name it, bro. Just exercising my brain with the world, playing outside, getting into shit. And just now it's a whole different thing, and it's a little scary. It's not something that I look forward to when it comes to my kids, because if you don't give them that shit, if you don't give them an iPad, they're in the dinosaur ages, but if you do, it's a double-edged sword, because now they're gonna be watching bullshit. I feel like we didn't really have that growing up. Growing up, it was just really different. But then again, it was almost, so there's a balance, right? There's a equality to that, right? Going to equality. I would be hours watching, not even watching TV, playing video games. I would play video games for hours on end, especially in the summer. I remember one summer, I might have been like 11 or 12, but Costco, and fuck Costco, making me say y'all name. They used to have like these big, I don't know what it was, like 10-pound bags of pistachios. And I remember just getting a bowl and scooping a whole bowl out of that big ass pistachio bag. And I would play Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. And I would play that shit like from when I woke up, let's say like 5 a.m, to like when my pop came home, which is like, you're talking about like a whole, like a 8-hour shift and shit of me just playing video games. That cannot be good for a child's brain, especially, if I'm 12 and I'm playing a video game where it's just violent. These fools are fucking killing each other and beating them the fuck up. That ain't too positive on a child's brain. At least with these kids, you can use it to watch educational things. Granted, video games, you could play like rated E for everyone games, but me, bro, growing up, I love playing Grand Theft Auto 4, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, or just Mortal Kombat. What other games? Brute Force, where you're just shooting people. Call of Duty, you're just shooting people. Grand Theft Auto, you just got prostitutes and like, you're picking up drugs and all this shit. And, it was a very, that wasn't all the time, because the rule in our house was I wasn't allowed to play video games during my school week. And I wouldn't even have time to play games either. I felt very jealous of like my homies and shit that would play video games I'm like, wow, you could play video games like during the week? Like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like, they don't care. I was like, wow, I was only able to play on the weekends, and I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to wake up at like 5 a.m. and start playing video games all fucking day, like all sun up to sundown type shit, which is the same thing. These kids, whatever, they're playing video games or they're watching whatever's on whatever they got going on. It's not too different. I like to think there's a difference, and there is, but I want to say for the most part, I wasn't with the technology, because the technology really wasn't there like that, like it is now. Now the technology's everywhere. We got fucking flat screens. Growing up, we didn't have flat screens. We had fucking fat ass TVs. It wasn't until I was like I don't know, maybe like, yeah, like 12 or something, which is still pretty young when we got like our first flat screen. I don't even remember. I didn't have a TV in my room until I was like older too. Like I want to say probably like, yeah, like 16. So like basically in the middle of my teenage years wasn't until like I got the full effects of like having like privileges, like having your own TV in your room, kind of like I don't know, staying up late. So certain shits like that, I feel like my parents did a really good job at kind of like raising me in a more in moderational manners, I guess. It's just weird. When I'm thinking about it now, I don't even know what to think because a lot of these kids are fucking becoming autistic or special needs. It's just weird, man. Honestly, I'm afraid for the world. But we're going to move the fuck on from that. We got a lot of shit to talk about today. What I want to talk about first and foremost, Wrong Side of the Tracks. I watched the second and third episodes. I'm hooked on it. Hook, line, and sinker. I love this show. Spoiler alert, if I want to say I'll spend a good like maybe 5 minutes on this, right? I don't want to go too much into the show, but basically we're introduced to Tirso, who's like, so first of all, this is like a Spanish novela from Spain. It takes place in Spain and like a place, it's called Entre Villas, which is just the name of the neighborhood in the show. It's like a fucked up ass neighborhood full of drugs, crimes, young kids pumping. And we got Tirso, who is kind of like in the opening. He writes like a police report for hears like a gunshot, and he like hears like a crime. He calls the police like 3 times. They don't do shit. So we basically get to see his character from the beginning as somebody who's like a war veteran that has like no faith in the police. He like we get introduced to his family. He like pretty much not hates, but like he doesn't really like his kids or his family. They throw him like this birthday party thing. He could give 2 fucks less. We're introduced to his daughter Irene, which she's like naive girl that's just like, this kind of reminds me the between her and her boyfriend is Nelson, and he's like a kind of like a young knucklehead kid in the streets, and you could tell like he doesn't want to do anything bad. He just wants to get like it ahead in life because of his situation where he lives with his mom. His mom comes from Colombia. They came from Colombia. They're trying to get a better life. And Nelson and Irene's relationship are like very in like a Bonnie and Clyde. Irene gets Nelson in his shit. She seems to be like the leading force behind a lot of what goes on in the show. She's kind of like the shit starter. So the first episode, it just basically introduces you to the characters, and the main story is basically that Irene, her and her boyfriend, they take a kilo of heroin from this big drug dealer named Sandro, who basically runs the whole neighborhood, using the muscle of this corrupt cop named Ezekiel. Ezekiel is kind of like trying to like be good, but he's corrupt. You know what I mean? He takes money from Sandro. He's the muscle. He's like the guard dog that keeps everybody afraid of Sandro. The first episode, Tirso finds the heroin, flushes it down. Then we kind of get introduced to like other minor characters, like the family, and basically the parents didn't. I think they adopted Irene. I don't think they adopted her. I forgot the Tirso's daughter. That's Irene's mom. I forgot what her name is, but she basically didn't want kids, and I think she said like she didn't really love her or Irene or something like that. Very like I really like this show. Like it keeps you on your toes. You think this is gonna happen, and that don't really it goes somewhere else. Then there's kind of like it's conflict resolution for a little bit, and then it goes into like more conflict. So it's like this crazy fucking wheel to where it's like you like, oh my God, you're spending a lot of time where you're like, oh shit, where's this gonna go? Like, it's all gonna go crazy from here. Then they find a resolution and you're like, whoo, and then boom, right back. But some shit happens and we're right back into the action. The second episode, so the first episode ends with Nelson, they're trying to look for Nelson for like the heroin that Tirso flushed. So Sandro tells Ezekiel to kill, in the second episode, Nelson for the heroin. And in the end of the first episode, Irene tries to like kind of, I don't know what she was going to do. She was dumb for this, but she goes over, but she's 17 years old, so she's a fucking kid. She don't know shit. But she goes over to try to like talk to Sandro and see like if they could do anything about it. In the second episode, she wakes up beaten. Then we find out she's taking a shower and she washes herself and she's like bleeding. So they give little hints that she was beaten and sexually assaulted. But I like how they keep you at, did she really, like, you know, did it really happen? Did it really not happen? Like, what's up with, like, what's really going on, you know? So you're kind of like in suspense about what really happened in the story. And these assholes just kicked my Pokemon out of the gym, so fuck them. I'm about to go kick them out. Hold on, let me pause real quick. I was super into this too. So like kind of like towards the end of the episode, I want to say, or maybe it's the third episode, we find out what happened. But it's just really crazy. Like this old man, Tirso is a war veteran. He won't stop until, like, he'll do anything for his granddaughter because he feels like he failed his own kids. So he's like really more so like Irene is like, he's going to protect her, you know, which I think just the dynamics, the relationships, it's really cool. There's like no good guys in this shit. The only good character in this whole show is the detective that's the boss of Ezekiel. And when she finds out that he was going to kill Nelson, I don't know if he's suspended because I'm like still on the third episode, but basically Ezekiel's like, look, you know, I'm not as corrupt as you think I am. You know, it's bullshit. The third episode, I'm trying to like remember right now because I'm kind of getting. Also, Sandro finds out that Ezekiel didn't kill Nelson, so now he wants money. Nelson goes into his stash of like all the drug money that he had to pay him, to pay Nelson, Sandro, for not killing Nelson. And then the end of the episode is basically Nelson, Irene didn't want to tell Tirso that she got raped, so I think they cut this because it kind of, she implies it. She tells Nelson and then Nelson tells Tirso and Tirso goes ballistic. He knows like a junkie dude that's like down for him. They were in like the Bosnian War together. They strap up with the other homie at the cafe, and that's like the hardware store that Tirso owns and works out of. His son is right there too. You know, he used to work for Tirso, but now he works for like this China guy. And Tirso's really racist. I love this show. It's awesome. It's really well written. There's great acting. It's more of a novela style, but it's like a novela meets like Narcos type of shit. It's just shot really well, written really well, directed really well, and the story is really great. So Tirso straps up. They go to the trap house that Irene went to, where she was like, you know, taken from, and they get everybody out. They get like all the junkies out and they burn the place to the ground. And Ezekiel's watching it like, fuck, like, and then now we're on to episode 4. I think the third season just dropped or it's going to drop soon, but it's an amazing show. It's called Wrong Side of the Tracks or Entre Villas in Spanish. It's a phenomenal show. And right now I give it a 5 out of 5 orales. Roman Reigns returned on Raw. Raw was today. I haven't seen it. We talked about Seth Rollins hurting himself. Roman Reigns, he returned, and this might be the least interesting return that he's had. You know, I think the last year when he came back from SummerSlam, that was super big because we didn't know when he was gonna come back. There were like rumors. Now, last week he came out of the blue, but it kind of wasn't really necessary. You know, I feel like once Seth got hurt, they had to switch shit up. You know. TNA Slammiversary happened. Bully Ray challenged the Hardy Boys to one last match at Bound for Glory. It's going to be the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys. How I feel about it is they're too fucking old. They have classic matches. They should just leave it where they leave it. I get the whole one more match shit, but it's always one more match to be had. Fuck it, bro. They had classics and like, you know, whatever it was, 99, 2000, 2001. And they should just leave it there. They're old. I don't need to see fucking the Hardys and the Dudleys in their fucking 50s to be wrestling in a TLC match or any match. You know, the Hardys, they're still going, but you could tell like they just need to stop. Going back to they just retire, you know? That's just how I feel. I wasn't a super big Dudley Boys fan. I do like their aesthetic and all that stuff. That was kind of before the end of the Attitude Era. That was kind of a little before my time. Even with the Hardys, like by the time I was watching them, it wasn't the Hardy Boys. It was Matt Hardy, and then when Jeff came back from TNA, Jeff Hardy. So, and out of the two, I like Matt Hardy more, but that's because I saw him more. I wasn't a big fan of TNA. So now that TNA is being bought out, is with WWE, it's kind of, I don't really care. I don't have any like emotional attachment to it. AJ Styles came back from TNA. So I guess like all the big TNA fans, like this was like this was like Christmas for them, but I didn't have really like no attachment to it. So I can't really put any stock in like the news. I just got this today. So whatever, you know, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but whatever. SB Air Max 95s are going to come out at the end of August. I think they're called the Cactuses or Dirty Cactus or something like that. Fire. I love Air Max 95s. They're my favorite shoe personally. Just comfortability and all that. They just give me great support. They look fire. They have great colorways. Then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Air Max 95s. I think they're called Muscles because in the manga, which is like an anime and a comic book, they're Air Max 95s. And basically they're going to do like a rendition of Neon 95s, like the classic OGs. I don't know if they're going to be Big Bubble. There's like very little details, but they're going to have like a whole Joey Wheeler fit. And just seeing that, I was like, wow. You know, some people, I feel like I kind of have this weird little accent like Joey Wheeler, and that might have been because of him, because I used to watch with Yu-Gi-Oh! All the time. And Almonte, in the summers, when my cousins would babysit me, watching the TV, I would watch Yu-Gi-Oh! All the time, the first 2 seasons, and then a little bit of GX when GX came out. But basically, I only saw the first 2 seasons for whatever reason. I know they had 5, right? But the first one is Duelist Kingdom, second one is Battle City, the third one is with like when they're in the Matrix. The fourth one, I don't know, and I think the fifth one, I don't fucking know. I don't remember. But they fucked it all up after the third. Even the third season is kind of like mid. The first 2, classic. The first one is like the OG. The second one is like they took it to the next level type shit. Then the third one, they kind of like started fucking the flapjacks up. And the fourth one, they're like, okay, fuck this, you know. We could have did without this shit. But I don't know. I haven't seen the whole 4th season of Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like I'm going to have to watch all the episodes, like beginning to end, to really give you a really good prognosis in my opinion. But we are decades past like when I would see Yu-Gi-Oh! As like a super fan. But I'll still watch it anyway at some point. I'm just in a different shit and I fucking doubt I'll do that. But whatever. I'm still going to cop the 95s for sure. I need those SBs. I need those 95s. We're coming with the undefeateds. I just got my Aqua 8s. I hit on the raffle on feature. The SB Dunks are coming out early in the morning, so I'm going to try to hit on those too. And what else? So let's see, bruh. Are we for the culture or are we for profit, right? There's a lot of pay-to-play type things that are happening in the world, and it's just pissing me off, whether it be promo or content and all this shit. Everything comes with a price tag. The the power is definitely not in the creative's hands anymore. It's in these fucking assholes that everything comes with a price tag. Nobody's really supporting each other because they genuinely support one another. It's because everyone has like a political agenda to fulfill, and I think it's fucking bullshit. That, or they want money out of it. You know, people aren't putting other people on because they genuinely fuck with them. No, it's because they either suck their dick, they're paying for their spots, or they have something to gain by putting them on, which I think is bullshit. Just recently, I reached out because this channel that's supposed to be for the culture, you know, they put some shit out like, oh, you know, you can do this type of shit and it'll be fire. We're trying to plug you up, right? Like, this channel is supposed to be like for the artists, and we're just about culture and all that shit. You know, go ahead and hit these people up, right? So I hit them up, and they want $150 to do a music video. You know what I mean? But they're trying to make it seem like, oh, like we got you type shit. Like, oh, there's limited spots and all this shit. Like, if they're doing you a favor, when it's like, no, bruh. I literally pay people to shoot my own music videos, to make my own clothes, to do my own shit, make my beat. Like, you know what I mean? There's just certain things, like if it comes with a price tag, bro, I'm not gonna fuck with you just because you say you can do something for me, bro. Check this out. I'm a self-made man. I've been doing this shit for a year. I've been doing this shit 11 years, bro. And I've been doing everything myself. And guess what? I've gone further in my career by people who didn't charge me or didn't feel like they needed to charge me than with people that I've paid for. You get what I mean? Let's shout out JB Ill. Let's first of all shout out NC, because he's been holding me down for fucking 8 years now. You know what I mean? That's like one of the only, like, that's the only friend I feel like I've had in music that 4 years has held me down with this music shit, where I feel like there's no bullshit, no hidden agenda, no shit like that. It's just real, genuine love for the game. You're not going to get that with everybody. Understand that everyone has different mentalities and interests and yada, yada, yadas. But don't try to confuse this like, you know, like you're for the culture. You're not for the culture. You're for profit, bro. Don't get it confused, bro. I'm the real deal coming out here and making the moves because I feel like that's what needed to be done. And when I need to pay my peoples, like a Migs, like whatever, a Brooks XY, like a Zika Bits, when I pay for the work gets paid for, and I don't mind paying for that because guess what? Everyone needs to get paid. But guess what? These gentlemen aren't out here faking the funk and pretending to be something that they're not. You know, we need to have gatekeepers in a way that we're not blocking people. We need the gatekeepers that are blocking the fucking assholes that just want to hold people back. Like, where are the gatekeepers for them? They've been gone a long time ago because they got pushed out by these greedy cocksuckers that only care about them and their own self-interest. Why is that? That's fucking bullshit. We need to change, but as a culture, this culture is predicated on just like money and superficial bullshit that I don't rock with. That's why I feel like I'm not as successful as like some of these artists out here, because I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not ever going to fucking, you know, put a price tag on my artistry or sell out or be like, oh, if I start doing this, that people will like me or I'm going to get money, because all of that is bullshit. Like I said before, if y'all got me 10 years ago when I was just starting, hey man, you could have made a lot of money off of me and did whatever you needed to do off of my name. But guess what? You can't swindle me anymore. You can't do no shit like that, because I'm a grown ass man and I know what I want to see for myself. And what do I see? I see myself not fucking with none of this bullshit out here. You can say all this bullshit that you want, that you're for the culture and you're for the people and all that. But guess what? I respond to actions, not words. And you saying this, but you doing all this other bullshit. You blocking people from doing shows. You're blocking people from doing other shit. You know, you're hurting people's opportunities for what? Because you have pride and ego? Because you don't want to see the next man succeed? Because you want money? What type of shit is that? You're not for the culture. You're for profit. Don't get it confused. We are not the same. We are not the same at all. Message of the day is very simple, man. Message of the day, I feel, is just, man, I can't say be genuine because we said that, man. I'll say a message of the day is look out for the people that look out for you. We can look out for other people all day. If they don't look out for you, what the fuck does that really mean? People are taking advantage of you, and that's your fault. Really make sure that you look out for others the same way they look out for you. I try to do that all the time. You know, I'm one of those, if you give me half a cup of water, I'm going to give you a whole cup. You give me a slice of pizza, I'm going to give you 2 slices of pizza. Why? Because I didn't ask for that shit. You just gave it to me off of the strength that you wanted to. So I'm going to pay that double time forward. You get me? There's not a lot of people out there. So the message of the day is don't be like other people. Be better than that. This is the God's Hour.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now.
While the angels fly over my headstone.